Hi there. Welcome to another exciting episode of Pastor Lanre Uncensored. Today I have a very interesting subject that I want us to discuss. You see, a few weeks ago, I got together with maybe 18, 20 men, and we got together and we discussed a plethora of issues, and it was such an incredible time. One of the things that came out from that discussion is, should husband and wives have different bedrooms? All right, we discussed it. I didn't think too much of it, but exactly a week after, I was speaking to two different ladies, and they raised the same issue of one of them wanted to move out of the bedroom and move into her bedroom. And I told myself, I think it's time I speak to this issue. So that is going to be our discussion today. So what are we discussing today? Should we share the same bedroom just because we are married? Can't we have our different bedrooms? All right, before we jump into that discussion, let's take this time of worship with the anointed Mercy Uduma. And I'll be right back after.
And grace unfold. I hunger
All right, welcome back. And thank you very much, Sister Mercy, for that time of worship. So let's jump into our discussion today. Should husband and wives stay together in the same bedroom just because they are married? Should husbands and wives stay together in the same bedroom just because they are married? This is one of those questions that, first and foremost, I find it interesting because you will think that it is a question that should not even come up in the first place. But I realized that it was the thing. I told you in my introduction that a couple of weeks back, I gathered, I was hanging out with all these men, and this thing came out as part of our discussion. And I was intrigued that husband and wives will even want to have separate bedrooms in the first place. But looks like it's becoming a trend in our society today. We talked about it, left it there, and then I ran into this ladies, and they were saying exactly the same thing. So I decided that today I'm going to talk to this issue. Should we stay together in the same bedroom just because we are married? Now there are different ways to look at it. I think that if someone wants a different bedroom and two of them are married, I'm sure the argument has merit. I'm sure there are reasons that are cogent for them to want to stay in different bedrooms. I realize that with most things in life, as it is with marriage, you can argue on whatever side of the coin you want to argue, and there will be reasons. You can argue either for or against, and there will be cogent reasons. But I just want to throw my own argument into the box and into the heart, and then we'll take it from there. I feel we should look at the pros and the cons of staying in the same bedroom and stay in separate bedroom. Now, let me say this from the get-go. I have my personal bias in this matter. I have my personal bias. I have a leaning that I'm leaning to, and that is that I think they should share the same bedroom. All right? My personal bias. But to be able to interrogate the matter, I feel that if it's a newlywed couple, if someone just got married and one of the parties decides that they don't want to share bedroom, I can put that down to upbringing. I can put that down to background. Maybe all their lives they've lived having their own personal spaces, and it is difficult to wrap your head around someone sharing such personal spaces. Now, many of you must have heard about how difficult it is to share bathrooms, especially something like bathrooms, or share toothbrush, or share bathing soap, or some. People have all this hang-ups that is a function of how they've been brought up, where they are coming from, and what they've been exposed to, and you have to respect that. You have to respect that. So for a newly wedded couple, and one of them feels, you know what, I need my space even in the bedroom. I want to stay in my own space. I can put that down to upbringing. But I will worry if people have been married for 10 years, 13 years, 15 years, and one of the parties starts agitating to have a separate room. It kind of suggests to me that there are underlying issues that the person is trying to get away from. So first things first, we need to identify this longing to have a separate space. Where is it coming from? Is it upbringing, or are there underlying issues? Is it a place where they've got into in that marriage where the spouse, one partner can't stand the other partner and think what is better for them is to move into different rooms? Because until you are able to address that, you may not be able to resolve that matter. Like I said, people are coming from different places. I know people that, I'll put up my hand. If you use my toothbrush, you can be rest assured, I love you, but I'll throw the toothbrush away. Because I just feel things like that are very personal. And someone said to me once, but You're busy kissing the mouth. I'm like, that's a different thing. It's a different thing, at least in my mind, that is. It's a different thing. So, because I have those hang-ups in those kind of things, I can also understand how someone will feel that their space is their space. But this is important. When it comes to like the bedroom, I feel one of the things that we have to grow into as part of accepting our spouse is understanding that they can be in our personal space. Now, I may have a struggle with toothbrush, but I know a lot of people who don't. I mean, they go into the bathroom, whatever toothbrush they see there, the one that their hand touches is the one they use. You know, I've had friends that the wife uses a toothbrush, leaves it. The husband comes, he just picks it up and uses exactly the same toothbrush, and it's not an issue, and it's great. But people have different hang-ups. I feel for the bedroom, though, it's slightly different. It is a space that both of the parties should be able to be comfortable. All right, I feel it's a space where both parties should be comfortable. And you know, for newlyweds, I tell them, this is what a marriage is. This is what you have to deal with. Someone says, you know, the smell, you know, this is what it is. That is what it is. Underwear. You know, I don't like the way she flings her underwear everywhere. Well, this is marriage. That is what it is. I don't like the fact that he wears one boxer for 2 weeks. You know, it is what it is. Help him along the way. This, you know. Let me also, you know, someone says, Pastor, the one I really can't stand is his breath in the morning. Gosh, Pastor, my sister, it is a marriage. And I'm sure you have stuff that you're struggling with too. And if your partner makes you uncomfortable with that, you will begin to struggle with feelings of rejection, feeling that the person does not totally accept you. So for newlyweds, welcome to the party. This is a marriage. Everything. Expect everything good, all right? Expect everything good. All right, let me move on in this conversation. You see, usually when people talk about marriage or the marriage bed, everybody's mind immediately goes to sex. But I feel the marriage bed transcends sex. It speaks more to intimacy, all right? And what drives intimacy is friendship and acceptance. Those are the drivers of intimacy. I will be intimate with you. I will let you into the deeper parts of me if I know that you accept me in my totality. And this is not like we cannot help each other improve, and I'll get to that sometime before this particular episode is over. This does not mean we can't help each other to improve, but everybody needs to find that acceptance in a marital relationship. All right? No marriage is built on sex alone. None. I mean, if sex was all it took, you didn't need to live in the same house. I mean, you could just have appointments where you just go and have, but nobody lives like that. No married person wants to live like that. Marriage is about intimacy, and I feel staying in separate rooms will impede the growth of intimacy between the couples. And even if they were staying together and one wants to move out, it may drive a wedge, it may slow down, or it may begin to reduce and cause intimacy to deteriorate between the couples. So that is what I think. Also, when you move out of the bedroom or you stay in different bedrooms, you have to deal with feeling of aloneness. I mean, you are married, but alone. Now, not necessarily aloneness physically, but emotionally. You know, there is comfort. There is comfort in knowing that there is somebody in your space. There's some level of comfort in knowing that your spouse is arm's reach. You can reach out. You can reach out to them. There's something comforting about those kind of things. Let me say this. Have you ever been comforted by someone's presence? I mean, you're not even talking, but just knowing that the person is there, the person is in the space, there's a way it comforts you. You begin to lose that when you move into different spaces, especially how life is now. People are getting beaten out there. People are getting battered out there. The economy is beating and battering people. Just living life today leaves you needing comfort. You now get to the space where that comfort should be, and your comforter, quote and unquote, is in a different room. Seriously. It may leave you feeling alone even though you are married. There is something knowing that someone is in that kind of personal space does for you. It enhances the feelings of companionship and proximity, and all of this helps the marriage. You know, even the sex can become problematic if you are in different bedrooms. Why do I say that? There is something spontaneous about sex that makes it exciting between couples. Now imagine if you're feeling like being with your spouse and you have to first of all knock on the door to enter. It takes away spontaneity. When sex is on a schedule of some sort, it kind of takes away from the spontaneity of it all. And these are things that are not necessary if you people were in the same bedroom. All right? It can even dampen romance and excitement, actually. When you're not in the same bedroom, it can dampen. Yeah, I know someone is wondering, oh, Pastor, you're not talking about the pros. You're only talking about the cons. I'll get there, all right? I will get there. It can dampen romance and excitement. There's something about you and your spouse that should be free-flowing, that should be fluid. Once there are protocols that you need to observe before you want to be with the object of your affection, it kind of just dampens things. You understand what I'm saying, right? Yes, I see you. Yeah. You know, because when you are in that space, there are things like non-sexual touches. Just a touch, a look, a this that happens when two of you are in the same space. That enhance feelings of affirmations. You kind of, and connectedness. It makes you feel like you are connected to your spouse when you are in the same space. Now, finally, let me say this, and this is a big one. This is a big one. When people stay in separate rooms, it gives room for their personal vices to grow. Pastor, what are you saying? There are some married people who still struggle with things like pornography. When they're in the same room, they are forced to be accountable to their spouse. And they can fight those vices together. When you live in separate rooms, you give room for those vices to grow. Also, there are people who chat with strangers on their phone. If you are in separate rooms, you give room for this kind of things to thrive. And that's how it starts. It then becomes an emotional affair, and then it becomes a physical affair, and then, it's adultery, and then there's all kind of problems that I feel totally needless. Because when we are in this, we keep each other in check. I know some people still do it. You can be lying down beside your spouse and still be chatting with a stranger. I understand that. But there is a level, there's some and you shouldn't be doing that really. But there's some level to which you cannot even really do it. Unlike if you are by yourself. And you're there, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., you're giggling with a stranger. You are asking for trouble. All right? When you are in separate rooms, the secrecy, the fact that I can do something and my spouse does not know she can do something and I will not know, these things aid on the journey to adultery, really. It aids on the journey to adultery. So you want to be careful. For this reason, I think people should stay together. Now, there are other reasons that people have given for wanting to stay in separate rooms. One of them is, Pastor, I like my space. I get easily irritated and I feel crowded when there are people with me in a room, in an enclosed space. And I get that. And because I don't want to keep feeling irritated at my spouse, I think it is better that we have our separate rooms. It has its merit. Valid argument. But what I'm saying is this. I understand how certain people need me time. And me time is important to them. This is my counsel. You can go to the spa, you can go to the library, you can go to parks, you can take walks, you can have me time. But if you want to really grow a strong family unit, when you come back to the house, me time must become we time. Me time must become we time. Because this is the reason why you brought someone else into your life. So that they can share in your life. It is difficult for you to bring someone into your life and then still shut them out because you want to have me time. So what I'm saying is you can look for creative ways around having me time, but usually when you're back in that same space, it needs to become we time. All right? It is. And someone says, let me also say this to the person who says, I like to be by myself. You know, I like me. I don't want to get angry at my spouse. So it's better we live in. See, you don't want to give the devil an inch. If you give him an inch, he will take a yard. If you allow him to take a yard, he will take 100 yards. Before you know, the gulf between you and your spouse will widen. And God forbid, far be it from you, that you will wake up one day and realize that you are flatmates and not a couple. Or you are housemates and not a couple. All right? You don't want to give that room for that gulf to begin to widen. All right? Besides, intimacy really speaks to being naked and not being ashamed. I feel, if not for you, for your spouse, allowing them into that innermost space that they can see your vulnerability, say something to them. It says to them, I trust you. When you are able to allow them see that I'm uncomfortable with this thing, but because it is you, I will let you in and, you know, this is what this is. What he says to them also is that I trust you. And nothing can be more affirming for a spouse than for their partner to let them know, not necessarily by speech, but by action, that they trust them. There's nothing more empowering for a partner than for that partner to know that their spouses or their partner is not afraid to share their vulnerabilities or their peeves with them and let them into that space. It can be something that helps foster deeper levels of intimacy. All right? Then someone says, Pastor, but what if there is a medical condition? My wife snores, and her snoring does not let me sleep. I work a very high pressure job and I need my sleep, and instead of just being frustrated at her, I think it is better that I move out and move into a separate room so that she can sleep and I can sleep and we can be fine. We can come together. Another valid point, very valid. But really, really, this is what I say. This is what marriage is about. I feel it is better if you face that challenge together as a couple than saying, you know what, snoring is your problem, deal with it, sleep in that room. I don't like hearing this, you're snoring. I'll be in this room and we can leave and we'll be fine. I think it would be more empowering for the two of you as a couple if you can know that she snores and let her know that, you know, I'm in this with you. Let us find a solution to this thing. Is there a medical procedure? Is there something that we need to do? Is it your posture when you sleep? What causes this? How can I help? That is more empowering and more positive for that union than you just bailing. Because really, really, your partner may not complain, but it may interpret to them. It may look to them like you are bailing on them. And because they have this medical condition, you rather not have anything to do with it. You'll be in the next room and you think it is fine. It may suggest to them that you're fair weather. That you're only there when things are good. And when things turn rough, you are nowhere to be found. Someone else says, oh, Pastor, I can't deal. My spouse is dirty. And instead of having this problem, let me move to the other room. She can scatter her room or he can scatter the room. I mean, everything can be upside down. But in this space, I will have order so I can think, I can focus, I can do the things I need to do. Another valid idea. Valid argument, actually. But iron sharpens iron. So this is what I say. So one person is very neat, almost to the point of being obsessive about it. All right? There are some of you guys out there, or some of you ladies, that even your friends know, that with you and cleanliness, it's almost obsessive, right? And there are some of you out there who don't care about whether things are stacked up, whether there are dirty clothes and stuff. So a very neat person marries a very dirty person. And because of that, they want to stay in different rooms and only come together really when it's time to be intimate. I think what will be more beneficial is this. If iron agrees to sharpen iron, so the person that is almost suffering from OCD concerning things being neat can learn to overlook certain things because life itself is not perfect. Yes, I'm not saying you now live in an environment of disorder, but just learn to relax a little. And then by so doing, you can also help the person that is very dirty to pick up after themselves, to work on their hygiene, to help themselves. So, see, this is really what a marriage is about. That two of you can help each other with your weaknesses and strengths. And someone says, oh, I'm neat, so I need to marry a neat person. Your house will become sterile. All right? So you may need someone that is opposite to you so that two of you can help each other. All right? And you can have a fantastic relationship. Okay? Now, I'll say this and I'll close. And someone says, but Pastor, we are wealthy. We can afford it. We just built a mansion. And this mansion, we can afford to have several rooms. We can have her bedroom. We can have my bedroom. We can afford it. My issue with that is, don't be so rich that to the extent that you can afford a different bedrooms, that your union now becomes poor and your relationship now becomes poor. What I will suggest is have a bedroom as big can be. But let it be your bedroom where two of you can come together. All right? So that it is still your room. Whatever your arguments are, I'm of the opinion that husbands and wives should be able to share the same bedroom. I mean, you can have a room that you can use as an office. You can have a room where you can make it all wardrobes and cupboards and, make a whole room your walk-in wardrobe. But for the sake of your union, for the sake of your relationship, for the sake of companionship, for the sake of intimacy, I'm of the opinion that husbands and wives should share the same bedroom. I hope you got something from this episode. And until I come your way again next week, keep keeping on. Be strong in the Lord and in the power of His might. God bless you.